with Buddha. Today the goal is to showcase GitHub and how to work with Git and GitHub together. Yeah, last time my stream was cut a bit because of the internet issues. Hopefully this time that won't be the case, but we'll see. You never can know about the future. Yeah, today the idea is to mostly comment about GitHub and the tools around GitHub command line tool, GitHub CLI, Visual Studio Code. There are other IDEs, but we cannot cover them all. We'll try to do on Visual Studio Code. And yeah, maybe also showcase something on the Memgraph repository. We'll see how that will go. Just let me check, because I'm streaming to multiple platforms. How does that work? Yeah, Twitch is working. YouTube is working. The only problem is that I have to mute myself. Oh, right. That's all good. What about Twitter? If I go to Twitter, seems like Twitter is not. Oh, Twitter is also fine. Amazing. Amazing. All good. Seems it's working. Great. Okay. Let's get started. What do we do first? I'll just go here. So, for those who are not familiar with GitHub, GitHub is a centralized place where you can find a bunch of repositories, open source software, and it's quite popular these days. It has a bunch of repositories. You can find a lot of very well maintained open source projects, and yeah, a lot of developers in the world are using GitHub every day to contribute into all these repositories and provide valuable code. So just to I'll use Memgraph codebase as an example for most of the stuff. So let's just jump there for a moment. So actually I can just type here this. So this is the Memgraph repository. This is how every repository looks like. Just a quick note. So we recently reached 500 stars. So thanks for starting the repo. And if you haven't done that so far, please click the star here. Anyway, mostly this is how every repository has a structure like this. So you can see here the code, and here all the files are listed, and you can browse through them. There are also issues. Under issues you can find a bunch of stuff. It's mostly bugs, but also feature requests, and there are other types of issues, but basically you can put here whatever you want, and yeah, it depends how fast like maintainers, contributors into the repository can do something about it, or you can also contribute your own stuff if that makes sense. There is also the pull request, and pull request is actually very specific. I mean, it's a general term, but it's what GitHub is using. Essentially, it's a request to integrate or to pull your code into the code base. So essentially, if you want to do a change, you clone the repo. Clone is another specific term. I'll get back to that soon. But essentially, you get the project, you make some changes, and then you make a request so that someone who is maintaining the original code base can actually pull the code into the project. And that's just an expression for any type of like request to integrate the code into the code base. There are also discussions here, so you can start a discussions here, ask question, and yeah, discuss whatever it's needed. Under the actions stuff, there is also so GitHub also provides a very well maintained set of features and capabilities where you can run your code. So whenever you do some change, you have to verify that it's working, and or even deploy things into production. And for all these things, you use actions. Not sure if I'm go deep into this, but essentially you can run a bunch of stuff on GitHub workers, or you can have your own workers ready. And then is the security and insights. You can tweak some of the settings here with all of these things, and look at the insights of each repository. Yeah, that's mostly it about GitHub on a high level. So let me just so that was GitHub, but I was actually going from the top, but there is Git. There is also Git, which is essentially the base tool you can use to contribute and change the code base, and then share that changes with the rest of the team of the developers working on the project. And this is essentially a CLI tool which you can use to do all sorts of things. So I'll showcase a bit later how to actually get started with that tool. But this is something which GitHub relies on. Essentially, all the stuff GitHub expose, it's is based on Git. So all the namings, all the capabilities are just exposed through the web API, through the web interface, where you can do these things easier. And then there is also a bunch of stuff on top which make developer teams more productive. Okay, let's try something out. Enough talking. And so you have to install. So in order to work with GitHub, I'll start with CLI stuff, with the terminal stuff, and then I'll also try to set up the Visual Studio Code. Since I'm mostly using terminal part is should be smooth, and on the Visual Studio Code side, I'll explore a bit, set up stuff on the fly, and we'll see all the errors we will get and how all that will go. Okay, let's switch here. So I actually have the Memgraph repo already cloned, but I'll remove it just to make that again. Okay, so if you go under what? This is a bit strange. Not sure why my browser is downloading stuff, but anyway, so under each repository there is this button which actually offers you to get the link to all these options from which you can access or fetch the code, and you can use HTTPS or SSH or GitHub CLI. I'll also do later with GitHub CLI, but for now let's just stick with regular stuff. It's more or less the same if you use HTTPS or SSH, but I think SSH is a bit better because you can define your own private keys and private public keys, and then you can upload that to GitHub, and like you can do like faster contributions with if you have these SSH keys properly set up. Yeah, I won't. Let's not go into there. Only if someone really asks that. But yeah, maybe I can showcase record another video about only how to set up SSH keys and stuff like that. But let's start with HTTPS because that's much easier to start with in the beginning. Okay, and here we have to type. So there is a terminal tool called Git. You have to install it on your machine. It depends what you're using. I'm using Ubuntu and I have Git installed. As usual, you can type when you have a terminal tool. You can type, for example, help here, and then you'll see all the options that the tool provides. Git is huge in terms of options it provides. So it's actually the way how Git started and how it was built. It was a set of small tools, and then eventually, at some point, they assembled all these tools together in one script or one binary. So it really has a bunch of stuff in there. For now, we only need clone to clone the repository to actually fetch the repository from the remote. Remote is also a specific term. It refers to the repository which is served on the server, and you can have many remotes for a given repository, and you can then interact with them in the same directory, from the same directory. But let's try to git clone here. So I'll be cloning Memgraph repository, and yeah, since it's using HTTPS, the repository is public. There is no other setup required. Anyway, here we have Memgraph repo, which is clean, and we just checked out or fetched all the files. There are some comments just to answer. Maybe there is something on Twitter. No, Twitch. It's fine. Yeah, okay. Good. All right. Anyway, once we are in the repository, here, as you can see, I have a slight configuration which tells me on which branch I am located. So Git has that concept of branches, and branch is let's say line of changes throughout the history. It essentially tells you how your code was changed over time. And GitHub has you can create multiple branches, and branch is essentially just a pointer to a certain commit, and commit is that one version of the code. Of course, there is a default branch, and it's called master or main. GitHub recently, or not that recently, let's say a year ago, changed the default from master to main. But since Memgraph codebase was started way back, let's say 6 years ago, it's very tricky to change the default branch, so we still stick to the master. And yeah, basically doesn't really matter what is the default branch. You can actually define different default branches. You can define your own default branch if you want. For example, it's a common practice to define development or dev as a default branch, but yeah, it depends what exactly you want to achieve. Usually default branch is main these days. Okay, but in order to contribute into something, you have to actually create your own branch or add another one. If I just type here git branch, that will tell me all the branches which are currently local on my machine. I can also specify a here, and that's gonna do much more things. So a means all, and it will list all the branches from the remote. So I have actually, since I mentioned you can have many remotes, and here it says remotes origin. Origin is that remote which is created when I cloned the repo, and here we have all these branches listed out. If you want, let me just go a step back. If you want to create, because I use many aliases, but yeah, one step back. So Git also, as any other tool, has configuration, and you can configure Git globally for all the repositories on the machine, or you can have a config for a single repository, or you can have a default config for your user. And you usually want config which is specific to you, to that user which is using the PC, or to the repository. And you can list all these configs by applying config -- list, and that will tell the config of this GitHub repo. As you can see, here's the name which is used in the commit things. In committing, there are aliases. Aliases is essentially you can shorten the command. That's why I'm showcasing this here, because I'm using these few aliases, and then throughout the showcasing, if you don't understand, it's gonna be tricky. There are specific commands like checkout. Checkout is used to pick the branch you're working against. Commit is when you want to commit. Add is specific thing, because Git has that stage which says how many. So which prior to commit, prior you bake all the changes into the repository, you actually add them to the staging phase, just to pick what actually you want to commit, and for that you need add command. Then you have status, and then there is a couple of specific things, like when you want to list all the changes, then you have to use git diff and stuff like that. Anyway, there is also some other config, and you can see here the origin repository, and yeah. Okay. One important thing. So these configs are defined in your home folder. If you're on Linux, there is a home folder, and in the home folder you have two files actually which are important. So I'll just open them quickly. There is the git config. So here I have my own config, and all these aliases are defined here, and then you can pick the different tools for like interacting with Git when you have to resolve the conflicts. Yeah, that's another term. So when you contribute to the repository, many people can contribute to the same branch, and then often you can end up with some conflicts, and you have to occasionally resolve them, because, for example, you can change a single line of code, and if that's done concurrently in the same time, or not that have to be in the same time, because GitHub is kind of asynchronous tool, so multiple people can work on the same line of code, and then GitHub doesn't know how to actually resolve what is actually the truth, what should be the truth, and then eventually at some point when you want to merge these two changes, or however many changes you have, or however many different branches you have, when you want to merge them, you have to specifically tell GitHub how to actually what to pick, what is the truth, and this is the config files. And one important note here is that usually one common, not a mistake, but people are ignoring stuff globally or in the repository, or let's say that's one more. Git ignore means ignoring things means that some of the files that are generated should not be pushed to the server, or should not be checked out inside the repository. They are irrelevant. If, for example, if you generate some file during your workflow, that file shouldn't end up in the in the repository or in the server. So if a file is automatically generated, there is no point in storing that because it can be recreated automatically. For these type of files, there are there is the ignore concept, so you can exclude files which are not relevant. And then you have let me go back a bit because that's more relevant. Here, if we list all the files, there is the git ignore file, which is specific to this repository. So if I open that file, here we have a bunch of files listed which are generated. All these files are generated automatically. For example, this is now very specific, but for example, this folder here is generated by using the Entler generator. It's actually a semantic and lexical and semantic analyzer, but all these files are generated and we don't have to store them, so they are all ignored here. But this is actually something which is ignored exactly here in the repository, and that's fine. But if you are using some of your specific tools or something specific to you that actually shouldn't be ignored in the repository, you should ignore that in your home config. So let me go back here. Here we specify that ignore file, and there is again the same thing, just in the home repository, in the home folder. Here I'm ignoring all these specific files I'm using. For example, if sometimes when I'm using Vim, I'm using this session file, which stores me all the data or all the info about the Vim session. So that's completely on my end, my config, which doesn't have to be ignored or mentioned in any way under the repository, or GDB stuff and other specific things. Okay, that's about it. I went a bit deep into the ignore stuff. Let's get back on track. If you have any question or anything like that, please ask. I'll try to answer that specific thing. Okay. What to do next? Okay, let me just, since I'm here, I'll actually do something actionable, but let me pick something. So I'll create a simple branch and push that to the server, and then try to showcase how to actually do some workflow. Okay, last time on the last stream I did I think I started fixing some of these problems. For example, this one. So I created the repository, sorry, the branch for this. Shouldn't this be mentioned here? No, this is something I just commented on. I think I closed some of the Cypher query. No. Give me a second. Yeah, that one. I worked on this one. So it's here. Here is the pull request. I'll get how to create a pull request in a moment. I'm just, so this is already ongoing, in progress. Let me pick one other issue which can be dealt with. Memory limit support for triggers. That's a bit more advanced. Aggregate functions. I'm trying to pick something realistic which I can actually finish and not closing that immediately. This is a candidate maybe, or show arguments. I think I think we did that. I'll try to close that. Sync mode. Unicode characters, no. What is this? During execution, in the case of an error, it would be nice to get result back. This is also a bit more advanced. Let's do something not to. I'll essentially pick this. So there's an issue which says that we should aggregate lists, and we should accepting aggregate functions that accept lists and arrays. So that's not supported currently. And okay, so since there is an issue about this, there's an issue related to this one. Let's just try to start the fixing process. So we are here on master. So an idea is to create a branch and then contribute against that branch. But you have to actually pick what is your base branch. In this case, master is good enough. So I'll just branch from here and continue working. So Git, usually you have different ways how you can start a branch, start a local branch. So you have, there is the concept of local branch and remote branch. So I'll create a local branch here first, and then I'll push that to the remote. So in order to create a branch, there is a command called checkout. That's actually a branch a command to switch branch. But if you add an argument here -b, you can actually name that branch. I'll just add support usually you have to pick some meaningful name for a branch name, but I'll just stick with this and continue. So here it says switched to a new branch, and that's great. So now I am on another branch. My terminal says here it's okay. And maybe I can just make this a bit bigger to see. I should have done that before, but yeah. Okay, now I have that branch, and I can start working against this code here, but I can also immediately push that to the remote. Git push. If I say git push, that will immediately push this branch to the remote. So I'll create a remote branch as well. If I do this, now I have an issue because I should have used the SSH stuff first because that's not gonna fly because I can only push stuff with the SSH. So I'll quickly switch to SSH. This command is a bit dangerous, so do that command with caution, because it says force remove that folder. So I'll do that for now, but when you execute this, please be careful, because you can remove something which you don't want to remove. Git clone. I'll use SSH for this. Here I have all my keys set up, so I think I need another video to explain that, but yeah. Okay, Memgraph. Let me repeat. Checkout -b at list map. Okay. Git push. Let's try to push now. This time should be fine. And okay, so here it says Github found 2 vulnerabilities. This is like a specific thing, but essentially these are all messages from remote. We can create a pull request or There is also some vulnerabilities we have to fix, but that's fine. But this is not that crucial or critical usually, because these are usually some dependencies, but anyway, it's important to resolve them promptly, because yeah, software can have some vulnerabilities which are not good. But anyway, here we have the local branch is actually mapped to the remote branch which has the same name. If we go back to GitHub, and I think we should have so if there were some changes, I think GitHub would inform here to create a pull request, but since I haven't do anything meaningful yet, not commits yet in because there is nothing to contribute, there is nothing to do. Anyway, maybe we can do something quickly. So where are these functions? So I think the change, okay, let me just nvim nvim readme. So okay, I think also Memgraph function cpp, I think we need this file to be changed. So we have let's say some HPP doesn't have the sum. No. I have to find the function. This is some boilerplate. Head last, properties start tree, labels, relationships, tail, apps. Okay. Sign, EP rand. There should be the sum. No? Isn't that function on this level? Split from bytes, la la la. Nope. Date. Let me just check. Labels. Typed value, la la la. No. So here, maybe we don't even have the. So these are all the functions listed here at some. Yeah, we really don't. But no, this is tricky. Let's go back. I think there is, just to verify that quickly. Of course, now I have to init stuff, and that will take some time. But anyway, I'll just quickly do something. Which probably won't compile. Just a quick to do. So awesome. Trigonometric string functions, member specific functions, temporal types. I'll just put place here to do. I won't do any serious code here. It's a function. Okay. So gitst is an alias for git status, which tells what are the changed files in the repository. If I execute git diff, that will tell me what are the changed files. So I added these two lines into the also Memgraph functions file. And if you can see here, status, so changes not staged for commit, which means that these files won't be added to the repository if we commit them. In order to say to Git that we want to commit them, we have to run git add, and then usually the full path to the file, but I have an alias for that. Git add minus a. Sorry, git add minus a should add them all. I have an alias git a. I have GA, but important note here is that this alias is not a git alias. This is a bash alias, so that will execute git add. So you can also do git a. I can do git a minus a. That will add all the files. This is also not applicable for all the cases. Sometimes you want to pick files which are some of the files you want to commit and some you don't, so you cannot just add them all. You have to specify one by one. But also Git supports the expressions, the regular expressions, so you can pick all the files from the repository, from the directory or something like that. All right, and now because we staged these files, we can actually do git commit, and git commit is also git commit also has a bunch of stuff. There I have also an alias for that. Git ct -m means a message, so that will add a message to the git commit. One thing which is interesting to showcase here, if I do git config -- list, I have a default username and email here, and I'll change that to something more applicable for Memgraph repository. So you can actually change that config per repository. So let's say git config user.name Marco user.email .com. If I list the config now, these things are added here at the end, so that will override whatever is above that. So it's fine now. This is usually good to do if you know if you want to update your email or something in the commit message. I'll showcase the git commit message structure soon. So get ct or git commit -m add to do. I'll just add quick message. Usually these messages have a certain format. Usually you start with a verb, which is like, yeah, add or change or fix, something which is super like imperative and easy to understand. And then you explain a bit what you're doing. Usually these messages have the title and the body, and title is should be very short. Let's say 50, I think 50 or something like that characters, so that you can print all these messages in a nice way, and then the body can be like bigger and explain more what is actually going on. For this, I just want to commit a simple thing. If I do this, it says, yeah, add to do, and then we have one file and 2 insertions. Now we can do git push. That will push repository to the there is a comment. Just a quick, I'll just pause a bit here. There is a comment. I'll just ask if there is anything specific. Let me check the Twitter and other media. Twitch I'm also using, so I'm streaming to 3 platforms, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube immediately. I'm not that familiar with Twitch. Maybe I didn't even open the comments. Should be somewhere here. Chat. Now okay, nice. Send a message. Just to test this. Nice. Twitch is also live now. Amazing. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay, git push, boom. Now we're gonna push to the repository, which is there now. Let's go back to the repository. I think now, if I go under pull requests, yeah, GitHub immediately detects some changes, and it says to open a pull request. So if I click open pull request, here we have some stuff that have to be here if we create an epic branch or task branch. These are specific things. Usually for bigger things we create epic branches, and there is that's a term we use to distinguish between these two things, but it's a custom definition and something which is useful for us for Memgraph. But usually I won't go now into all these details. You can actually, let me just diverge a bit here again. You can actually read more about the whole workflow under here. So if you go under internal, then here I think we should have, we don't have that. Toolchain design, scaling guide, code to guidelines. No, it's not. We haven't put that yet public. Anyway, not yet, but anyway, we won't go there now. But here it's important to know that there is a task branch. Usually this is a small thing, so there is a task branch, and we have to check the update documentation if necessary. For this, that's gonna be the thing, so we have to check that. So if you go under preview, you see here little boxes, and you can tick them once you did that work. Update the changelog. We also have to update the changelog. Full content right out final git message. Yeah, that's also something we need. For now, I'll just here specify fixes or closes. I think also can use, you can use different messages here. I need that aggregate function 438. If I specify this here, then the issue will automatically link this pull request, so you can actually navigate that there is something going on. I'll write a better add for function and aggregate functions for list and maps. Let's call it like that for now. That's it. So here you also have, I can do this a bit bigger. Yeah, sorry for not doing that in the first place, but here you have to pick what is your base branch, so from which to which branch that pull request will be pulled or integrated into. In this case, master is a correct one here, so I'll just leave this, and then we are comparing this against any other branch. So by default, all these values are correct, but yeah, sometimes maybe you can have something differently, and yeah, maybe you have to adjust or do something about it, but usually you don't. especially if you're working on a single repository. If you fork, that's another thing. So, but yeah, anyway, I'll get into forks in soon. Anyway, this is correct. Title is okay. The description is okay for now. Usually here there has to be more details about stuff and some maybe implementation details or important things for the interface, but that's all fine for now. I'll assign myself here. You can do labels here. I'll actually do enhancement. We have that label which is enhancement, which tells that this is an improvement, which this pull request is. Other stuff's but not really important at the moment, but this is important. So you can create a pull request, or you can create a draft pull request. Draft pull request is indicating that this pull request is not ready yet and it has some work, but you're asking for early feedback. And as soon as you start working on something, it's, I think, very useful to create these draft pull requests so that other people can actually see easily what you're working on and what are your ideas and which is the direction, and then can give you early feedback if necessary. By that, you're asking for an early feedback, which is very important because you can cut a lot of issues by doing so. So, and in this case, this is actually perfect for me because I don't plan now to work on this. I'll go back to the feature a bit later, but at the moment, I'll just create a draft pull request, which indicates my intention and which tells what I want to do. Let me click here, draft pull request. That thingy will create a pull request. So now my pull request is created. We initiated here all these action checks, but they should all pass. Hopefully, maybe there is some flakiness in the tests, but we'll see about that. I also said, yeah, this one closes 438. If we go there, it should be linked. So we'll close this issue. So this issue should be automatically closed when we close the PR, or when we merge that PR there, which is good. Okay, that was it. From that perspective, I think I covered most of the simple stuff. Yeah, it's already 50 minutes past, which is fine. Okay, one more thing. So here you have stars. Sorry, different topic, but there are stars. You can start the repo, any repo you like, and there is also fork. So that's another concept. So instead of contributing directly to some repository, which I did at this point, there is also an option to completely fork the repo. So if I go under here, it tells me to create a fork. Yeah, actually, let's do that because I already have the fork of this repo on my private, not private, on my personal profile or personal account. I can just do memgraph test. That's like that will be another fork of memgraph. Copy the master branch. You're creating fork in the memgraph. No. It says you already have. I cannot actually do that. So okay, fine. So yeah. Anyway, you can do this here really easily by just clicking create fork, but I won't do that because that would create another repository under the same account, which is not necessary. So that's fine. I think we can access these forks by specifying here. No, how to see, there has to be a button to see all the forks. See all forks under repo. Has to be there has to be something like this. Insights forks. Okay. If I go under insights and then forks, there we see all the actual forks. So Memgraph has 34 forks at the moment, and then I can actually go under some of them. Let's do I don't know. I think they are ordered in time, so these are some of the latest ones. So if you can see here, there is this account here, zkkxu memgraph, which is forked from memgraph repository, and now you can pull, you can push to this repository. I mean, the creator can push to this repository, then do all the stuff there, and then it's also possible to create a pull request from the fork to the main repo. That's actually a recommended way of doing things, because you're not polluting the main repo and you do stuff on your own So there is also the point with fork is that if you fork repo, you can do your own stuff under that repository, and you can diverge from the history. You can do your own things there, whatever change you need in the code. Because sometimes it's not possible to just contribute to the main repository, because it contradicts something which was already defined, or like whatever. It can be many different things. Okay, let's go back. Okay, that's about forks. A fork workflow is a bit harder, because you have two repositories and then all the branches or all the stuff, that's a bit more advanced at the moment to showcase. Okay, that was about forks. I also covered the terminal interface. Okay, as I said, I won't contribute something today, but let me showcase. This was all, let's say, bare bone, clicking through GitHub and also doing some stuff from the terminal. But for the beginners, or actually not only for the beginners, it's anyone should probably use IDEs, because IDEs offer a lot of functionalities out of the box, a lot of predefined functionalities, so you can learn quicker. Okay, you can quickly contribute into the repository, but also you cannot make mistakes easily, because everything is predefined. So I freshly installed Visual Studio Code and connect GitHub with Visual Studio Code. It automatically asked me to do so, and now it says, fork clone some of the repository. And I'll also click Memgraph. Visual Studio Code is ready, and what now? I'll give feedback later. What is happening now? Yeah, that's why I don't like IDEs, because I never know what is going on in the background. Okay, so seems like Visual Studio Code stuck somewhere. Yeah, essentially dead. Okay, I'll try to restart Visual Studio Code, clone repository, clone from GitHub, Memgraph. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, I'll just go under downloads, select repository location. Now thing is, would you like to open the directory? Yes, open. Nice. Do you trust the authors of this file and this? Yes, I trust. Whenever you have a prompt, you should carefully read it and understand what is going on. Never click stuff you don't understand, because there is a bunch of weird things that can happen to you because of that. But in this case, code provides feature that may automatically exclude files in this folder. Yeah, you didn't trust. I trust. I'll click trust, and yes, I trust the authors. Yes. Okay. But yeah, important thing. Always read stuff. Okay, here we have the code. I only checked out, I think, master branch. If I open readme, okay, here we have a nice code colored readme file, which is amazing. That's what I like from the IDEs, because you always get colors out of the stuff. Okay. If I go back here, source control, what is this? US3. Oh, here we have some actions. Pull, push, fetch. So Git has a pull, push, clone, and checkout too, and fetch is, I think, lower level command, but maybe that's wrong. But essentially, you are fetching branches from the remote. If I click fetch here, would you like code to periodically run git fetch? I think no, because no. If I need something, I'll do so. Another, remind me later. No, that's something I wasn't able to click before. Branch, merge branch, maze remote. As you can see here, you can see usually with desktop tools, you can actually pick the action you want. Checkout to, and now I can actually check out. Let me check out to this origin add support aggregate list map. Plump. If I check out here, I think I'm on this branch. Yeah, here it says add support aggregate list map. Okay. If I go back here, how to search for files? Search. Type to search. Yeah, this is now okay, but I can click here. This is search for the replacements. How I can search the whole repository? Anyway, let's not search for now. I'll just navigate to the file. Query. I think we have interpret. Yeah. So here, this is the C++ file. So since I haven't set up my Visual Studio Code here, I'll just click install C++ extension. It has CMake. Now it's installing a bunch of stuff, which I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe I shouldn't click on that, but anyway. Okay, while it's doing stuff, let's go back here. Would you like to configure project? I think this is gonna fail because it's a bit more advanced than this, but let's click yes. Clang 14. Memgraph is currently compiled with Clang 13, so this probably won't work, but let's try. Boom. Find package. Yeah, we have to run init, and yeah, that's not gonna fly. Anyway, I don't want to compile anything at this point. I just want to do something here and then also contribute. Add some function. I'll just put dot here. Okay. If I save this, even though I think Visual Studio Code is automatically saving stuff, and as you can see here, we have this change. So yeah, it actually tells you immediately what to change. Here you can open file, discard file, state changes. State changes means git add, so this is the same action. If I click here, now it doesn't tell you that it's different, and here you can okay, I can commit, but this will take the git message from the what's the name, from the home folder as well. I'm quite sure into that, but let me configure show git output. What is this? Oh, nice. Ooh, this is nice because here you can actually see what is happening. Can I zoom this a bit? Yes. Okay, nice. So Git executed a bunch of commands under the hood, which is fine. But how I can configure obviously I can go and fix the config file or something, but I want to configure stuff here. Commit stage, la la la, branch. Yeah, probably not possible here. Preferences, maybe here, extension, settings. What's gonna happen here? Text, workbench, window, features, application. No, security, no, extension. Maybe here, git. Here we have, oops, git. This is all together. Branch protection. Here we have a bunch of stuff which is possible to configure. Yeah, it's really a lot. Require git controls whether to require explicit git user configuration or allow git to guess if missing. But yeah, that will still use my config. Anyway, let's just go with this, not to waste time, and we'll see what's gonna be the commit message actually. So okay, we stage this and add dot. We just added dot. If I commit this, now this is committed into local branch, and we can sync changes to the remote. If I click here sync, this section will pull and push commits from the okay. It's gonna pull, but yeah, if someone else pushed something to the remote branch, it will pull, and if there is a conflict, you won't be able to pull. You will have to figure out how to do that, or you will be able to pull, but there will be a merge conflict, and you will have to resolve it somehow. But okay, let me just, so here I actually don't know how to see the changes. What is here? No, views, source content, parcels, view as a tree. What's gonna happen here? Nothing. View as a list. That's under. That's off. That's a configuration of this thing here. Show git output. I actually don't know how to do so, but anyway, let's go under terminal. It's always easy. So if I do here git log, yeah, this will log all the changes. So we have add to do and add dot, and here you can see I've changed the config here but not here. So yeah, I don't know how to change the config, but we'll see. We'll discover that at some point. Okay, and since I clicked sync, this should also be visible here. So yeah, add dot. That commit is also pushed to the remote. What was the status of? Yeah. I pushed another commit, and then the previous action run was immediately stopped, and there is another one now running, which is okay. Okay, that's about it. What else? I think it's I'll stop here when it comes to the Visual Studio Code. As you saw, it's super easy to do stuff with Git through Visual Studio Code, because it guides you through all the process. I just clicked almost the same button. It's like next stuff. So you just click and you get the default actions in a quite good order, and with a quite good action. Okay, that's it. One more thing. I think I'm gonna showcase one more thing, and then that's it for today. So there is GitHub, there is Git. There are IDEs like Visual Studio Code, which can help you massively with contributions. There is also the GitHub CLI. So CLI. GitHub CLI is a CLI tool for interacting with GitHub in particular. So that's something which can help you running GitHub. So not Git, so GitHub commands through your CLI. And let me install that. I'm using that on my other machine, which is because it's convenient. But here I don't have it installed yet. And here are the instructions. Debian Ubuntu. Okay. But if I click here, what's gonna happen? This is the whole command already in place. Since we are copying command, it's wise to verify the domain. So it says github.com. It should be trusted domain, and I trust GitHub at the moment. So just let's try to execute this. CD under the home repository. So this will run a bunch of stuff, but let's do it. While this is okay, it says the new command package will be installed, gh, which is amazing. Gh -- help or help. Nice. So it's working. So we have a bunch of stuff here. Again, authenticate gh and git with GitHub. I assume we have to do so immediately. So okay, gh auth git with GitHub command login logout login. We want GitHub. In this case, HTTP protocol for GitHub operation, SSH. Let's try SSH. Generate no. Paste and login with web browser. Paste one-time code. Press enter to open GitHub. Copy. Continue. Access to gists. Read-only access to repositories private. I have only read-only access to the organizations, but that's fine for now. Authorize GitHub. 28. Yeah, sorry for this, but we have to 28 approve. I did this, hopefully, yeah, all done. And here logged in as getbuddha. Amazing. Let's go back here under some gh bugs. That's an alias. Gh issue list. Gh issue list. I have to be under some repository downloads. Memgraph. Gh issue list. Boom. Amazing. So now we have all the issues, and as you can see, it's nicely formatted and colored, so we see all the issues. Let's find my issue. Was the aggregate functions, these 438, gh pr checkout, pr create, pr, I think pr, gh pr status, gh pr status is a nice command. Relevant pull requests in Memgraph. So, check pendings, review required, up to date, boom. Nice. If I copy this and say gh pr status and then copy that, no. Status 51514, I probably flags. It lists all the PR help. That will list all the files, but how to check one? Not up to date. Check pending. La la la. Should be. We all GitHub PR. Let's see PR check. Sorry. 514. Git PR. Shouldn't this? Oh, sorry. GH PR status. Current branch. Sorry, I don't see how to check a number or a branch. PR close. I would like to close this PR because comment delete branch repo. GH, because it's not relevant for now. You can do many more stuff, but PR close, and that's like 514. If I do this, nice. It was actually closed. So if I go back, GHPR close. If I go back under Memgraph, it says pull request, and it was 25 before, and it's now, yeah, it's closed. Let's just check, because this thing here should not be closed. Yeah, because I didn't resolve the issue, so it's all fine for now. Okay, did some dummy stuff here, but essentially all the workflow is here. We just have to contribute real stuff. Amazing. Just to check the comments. No comments, no questions. Yeah, what can you do? You have to keep going. Nice. GitHub CLI is done, and yeah. Maybe just to comment on one important aspect of Git. So there is, when you integrate code, there are two let's say ways of doing that. So you can do merge of two branches, or you can do rebase. Merge is usually much more friendly and easier to do. You only have to resolve conflicts, and once you resolve it, you can merge almost whatever, and you can merge multiple branches. Yeah, like you can do a bunch of stuff. Rebase is a bit more tricky. So rebase is actually a tool to change the history of branch. So not only rebase means that you are you have the branch and you have another branch, and then you are rebasing this branch to this branch. So you are actually combining them into a single branch. But that's not the only that what the word means. But you can actually do a bunch of different things with rebase. Change the history, squash commits, and stuff like that. So, and that's actually very useful, because usually when you contribute to your local branch, you should commit frequently, so that you can go back in history if you screw something, or if you want to check out the previous version for any reason. But all these intermediary changes shouldn't end up in the repository, because each commit accessible from the main branch should be compilable and well defined, because if you spot a bug in the software, you actually don't know when the bug was introduced, and then you have to find, and you need to have a valid changes so that you can find the actual bug. But in order to do so, you have to let me switch here. In order to do so, you have to actually clean these all intermediary commits a bit, and for that you need rebase. And again, tools like Visual Studio Code will massively help you with this. The tricky thing with rebase is that you are actually changing the history, and then if you are pushing that to the branch, so if you are rebasing something on main branch and then you push that, that's gonna cause a lot of troubles, and don't do that. You should really consider what you're doing if you do so. Usually rebase is useful on a single on a local branch, when you play with stuff locally, and then once you figured out things, then you push all of that. Of course, you can do that also with the remote. There are specific cases, but you should take care of that. One more thing, GitHub also has let me go to check to GitHub. GitHub maybe go into something which is more let's do this. Maybe I can do squash and merge. No, I cannot merge this. I won't merge anything, just to showcase. Is there something which is approved? Draft. No. Anyway. So there is usually there's an option on GitHub, so you can actually squash and merge things. So that's like a combination of rebase and merge. So you squash a bunch of commits on one branch, and then you put that on the branch on which you are actually merging. So that's probably the nicest way. So you do stuff locally, and then you push a bunch of stuff, and then you squash merge at the end. Of course, if you have more advanced feature, which is, in our case, that's an epic branch, in that case you should do stuff locally, just combine a bunch of stuff, then push that as a commit on the epic branch, and once it's done, once you stack a couple of these well-defined commits, then you just merge. into the main branch. There is also GitHub workflow. There is also a using workflow syntax. There is also a term called GitHub workflow which defines a well-defined. That's now a problem because that's on the actions. No. Yeah, this is. I think there is GitHub workflow. GitHub flow. Create the branch, make changes. Yeah. Here you actually have a GitHub flow, which is let's increase a bit. So GitHub flow is lightweight branch-based workload. The GitHub flow is useful for everyone, not just developers. For example, here we use GitHub flow to site policy documentation and roadmap. So this is a very simple workflow you can actually follow, and you'll be good with your changes. I think on the internet you can find a bunch of workflows, and here is a problem with the naming as well, because GitHub Actions also use workflow as a term for running the whole set of actions and ensuring that you have a valid commit, but valid state. But workflow also refers to that that set of actions that you should follow in order to contribute into a repository. And yeah, I think that's it. In case there are no questions, I think I'm gonna finish for today. Actually, this was nice. Only hour and a half, which is good. Okay. Let me check a bit. Twitter is fine. Twitch is fine. Live stream. No? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully this was insightful. Let me know in the comments what do you think. If you have some questions, please like, share, subscribe as always. And next time we'll see. I'll probably showcase some real use cases like fraud detection, recommendation engines, or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but it's gonna be next Saturday. I don't plan to miss. Yeah. Hope this time I didn't have issues with the internet connection, so hopefully everything was fine. My item says that everything was okay. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. Have a nice rest of the weekend and see you next time. Bye bye.